Here's the truth. If you stood side by side with high net worth investors like Donald Trump or Elon Musk, you'd find that you're paying a higher percentage of your income to taxes than they are. I'm going to tell you why that is and teach you the framework they use so that you can maximize your investable income like an intelligent investor. This isn't your typical financial advice. It's what the ultra wealthy have been using for years to stay ahead. And once you start implementing it, you will spend less time vetting a deal and come to the table with more investable money, and I'll show you why. This video is designed for established investors and high-income earners looking to maximize their returns by increasing their investable income without working harder to make more money. If your idea of investing is keeping $1,000 in a savings account, you might find this video a bit advanced, but stick around, because understanding this now will pay off when you're ready to get ahead. Over the past 30 years, I've been involved in the construction and development space with many clients using my services to design build their product. That means we start with a goal in mind, we build to a budget, and we make sure that it's the best product that they can get based on their needs and their particular outcome. Doing that is a different building type. And I started doing this for other people. I realized that my investors would use the same formula, so we started implementing it with a handful of investors. That began to grow, and over the last 5 years, we've raised over $70 million, and we've prevented our investors from writing a check to the IRS for $15 million because we've implemented tax savings in every step of what we do. So we've worked with national brands like Constantino Stone, Regis Office Centers. We're doing regional deals where we're dealing with mom and pop businesses that are using our spaces to create their business presence. And when we do that, we're using the tax code, not just bonus depreciation, but other areas of the tax code where we can bring this in and create maximum tax benefits that we stack on top of each other in an effort to lower the tax bills of our investors and create a larger investable amount that allows them to maximize that return. I've even used this in my personal life to buy things like airplanes, Range Rovers. I have vacation property in Puerto Rico. I've also done this with just about everything in my life, including the watches I like to wear. So these are the kind of things that the Intelligent Investor Framework teaches you, because every day we hear about successful people finding new ways to reduce their tax bill, leaving the rest of the world wondering, how did they do it? Because once you hit a record-breaking income year, you're slammed with a higher tax bill, leaving you feeling like, why have I done all this work and there's no end in sight? All the while, people like Donald Trump don't pay taxes. Elon Musk is the highest paid employee in the world, and Jeff Bezos moved to Florida to stop paying his taxes. And you're asking yourself, how the are they getting away with this? How is it possible that Warren Buffett pays a lower tax rate than his assistant? That's insane. We've officially entered the inflation-eroded economy, and it's eating up 20% of your income, and that's only leaving you with 50% of what you had 3 years ago after taxes. In this economy, investors are experiencing inflation outpacing their investments more than ever before. Their tax rates continue to grow while their spendable returns become less and less every day. The American dream isn't dying. It's already dead. Look at these stats from the 1850s, 1950s, and today.
In 1850 to 1860, in that time frame, there was really no taxes, okay? So we weren't paying a federal or a state income tax. And inflation during that period of time was at 1.023%. So it was at 2.3% overall, which was minuscule. So what this chart shows is that if you invested $1, at the end of 10 years, you would have $2.43 in your investment account if you received a 10% annual return. And inflation would have taken the dollar of spending power, and you would now need $1.23 to reach the same spending power, but still showing over $1 in profit because there was no state or federal capital gains tax on your winnings at that time either. So then you look at this next slide, which is what happens in 1954. And actually in 1957 was the highest capital gains rate we'd ever had at 25%. We also had about a 13% federal tax at that point. So you would be investing 83 cents if you had a 17% tax. And so you're investing investing your 83 cents, and in 10 years, you have $2.16. And inflation at that time had crept up to 3.5%. So at the end of 10 years, your dollar, you would need $1.37 to buy the same amount of product. So you take your $2.16, you take your 25% capital gains, you're left with about $1.85, which still left you 50 cents ahead of the game. You were still better off after your investment period with where inflation had taken everything. And then this last slide shows what's happening now. We're at a 64% investment rate because we have a 37% tax. So after you've paid your taxes, you've got about 65 cents to invest. And at the end of 10 years, you have 65 cents in profits on your dollar investment. Your inflation currently is at 5%. And anybody that tells you otherwise is making things up and should probably have their head examined. But that means that at the end of 10 years, you are going to need $1.55 to buy your dollar's worth of products today. So if we ended our 10-year investment period with a 10% return on our 65 cents that we had to start with, we wind up with $1.65. We're going to pay 20% tax on that. So we're going to pay taxes on the 65 cents. So we're going to pay 12 cents in taxes, which puts us down at $1.53. Well, inflation puts us at $1.55. So we're underwater. And that's really what these charts show, is that from the time that we started this process until now, we've had some serious changes over time with what's gone on. And now your current 10% rate of return is not going to get you out of the hole. All of that to say, you have to reduce your taxes in order to get ahead of this whole process.
Look, traditional methods are no longer effective. They're worse than that. Doing things the old way puts you behind inflation. It forces you to continue to work for the rest of your life and costs you your lifestyle. The middle class is well on its way to disappearing, leaving you two incredibly hard choices: invest like an intelligent investor or fall into the lower class. Look, I know this because I personally paid 37% of my income for several years in a row, spending millions of dollars on the IRS that I could have invested. That's why I've created the Intelligent Investor Framework, because I was sick of it and I vowed I would never do it again. Following traditional advice is not tax efficient. It will lead you to years of saving and investing only to find that inflation has beat you and you'll never retire into the life you told yourself you would have and truly deserve. Let me give you the very first example and my most painful experience of when I owed the IRS. Although it wasn't the most money I've paid, it was the biggest lesson I ever learned. So my very first investment, my very first foray into this was I was working on a job and I got to know the little old lady next door, and she had a house on about 4 acres in an industrial area that she had owned forever. She was getting older, businesses were popping up all around her. She had a mentally disabled son. She was thinking about what was going to happen after she passed. I also got to know my crane operator on the job site, and he was looking for about 4 acres with a house on it, maybe, that he could put his office in and park all of his cranes. So needless to say, I put the deal together. I went to the little old lady next door, I put it under contract, but I didn't use my last $500 because that would have insinuated that I had $500 before that. I literally had $500. We just got married, we just had a baby. Life was not what it is today. Get this deal under contract, go next door, make the deal with my crane operator, and I'm sitting there and I'm going to make more money on this one deal than I'm going to make in my job for the next 18 months. This was exciting. Closing day happens, I get my check, I'm ecstatic. I run out, make a couple other investments. I am thrilled with how this is going. Well, about 9 months later, here comes the IRS telling me that I have a tax bill and they'd like their 37%. See, because I didn't hold the property, I was a dealer, so I owed it as ordinary income. But looking back on it now, I see so many other ways that I could have structured the deal, still made the profit, still had all the things that I was looking for, but done it in a tax-advantaged way to eliminate and offset most of that tax bill so that it wouldn't have taken so much of my profits. Literally wrote a check for about $35,000 to the IRS, plus I paid some penalties, plus I did some other things because it took me a while to have the other investments recirculate. It was a really, really painful lesson. This story taught me the lesson, as Robert Kiyosaki rightly said, it's not how much money you make, but how much money you keep, how hard it works for you, and how many generations you keep it for. See, the most important thing that you need to understand and accept is that it doesn't have to be that way. People like Trump, Musk, Bezos, and the rest of them are living proof that if you want to retire like an intelligent investor, you need to be using the same strategies that they are in order to make that happen. The Intelligent Investor Framework is designed to allow you to thrive in the inflation-eroding economy. It increases your investment power by creating ways for you to keep your income in your wallet. You don't feel robbed by the IRS at the end of the tax year. It minimizes your tax bill, giving you the chance to make investments that will actually outpace inflation so you can build the true generational wealth. We've used our Intelligent Investor Framework with a client named Robert. Well, we'll call him Robert because that's his name. And we created the tax benefits to create the tax shelters and the cash flow that allowed him to pay less in taxes, retain more of his principal, and then generate more income. And we've done this for other investors like Celia and her passion for flight by creating tax benefits that allowed her to own airplanes, and many, many others. The most crucial part of becoming an intelligent investor is setting achievable goals and defining a clear exit strategy. Without these solvable equations, your entire investment strategy will become very ineffective. So you want to create a solvable equation. You need three things. The first thing you need is an inflation calculator. You enter in what you want your lifestyle to be and the monthly income that will require. You input the inflation terms and it will tell you how much money you need to have in the future. Second, you need to know the tax benefits you have available to you in order to achieve that goal. And once you have these ready to go, you identify what your goal is. It calculates how long it will take you to get there and have a clear exit strategy. Now you're ready to take action. See, these are important because having a defined target keeps you motivated. It provides clarity on exactly where you are going, how you will get there, and when. It allows you to make a yearly plan to execute and track your progress as you go. Now, step 2. You need to identify and optimize how you are paid. For example, as a business owner and investor, I'm paid by performance and project. My assistant is an employee, so she's paid by the hour. We are totally taxed differently and we have different tax opportunities. So understanding how you are paid will tell you what kind of investments will get you the best tax benefits that you need so that you can stay ahead of inflation. So first you need to determine if you have a W-2, own a business, if you're an investor, or if you receive passive income. Knowing this will tell you how you can be a business owner to receive the tax advantages you've been missing out on. By owning a business, I'm not saying go start an entirely new side hustle while working overtime as a doctor or whatever else you might have to do as a profession, but that's unreasonable. I'm talking about creative passive income so that you can reduce your taxes. This is something as simple as owning your likeness or creating online digital products or even a leasing company. And I'll show you how to do that very easily. Let's take the example of an employee of mine, Christy, who is actually created a leasing company to lease a vehicle to her husband's work. See, what happens is her husband gets a stipend for using his personal truck for the owner's business. What they've done is they bought the truck, created a leasing company that her husband has now signed the lease on, and he is leasing the truck for business activities, and they've created passive income by reducing their personal income through a leasing company, all 100% legal. That's created passive income. Now they can take advantage of beautiful things like bonus depreciation because they have passive income. On top of that, they have Section 179 depreciation that they can use against their active income because they own a leasing company. Once you identify the benefits that are available to you, you'll be able to apply them immediately to convert yourself from being just a W-2 employee or a business owner to becoming an intelligent investor. And I'm going to give you some real-world examples that my clients use every day. After you understand the foundations of this framework, applying these will save your financial freedom and your legacy from being outpaced by inflation. It will allow you to pay less taxes, have more spendable income, and enjoy your lifestyle now instead of waiting for later. Step 3 is to utilize the tax code to maximize your tax savings. You have to beat inflation before you invest. It doesn't matter how much you make if you're losing the majority of it to taxes and inflation. Something as small as a 5% decrease in your taxes puts you further ahead than a 10% ROI on your investments. So first you need to take advantage of that. First you need to know the tax advantages that are applicable to you and understand how to apply these principles to your income this tax year. This is just as important as any other financial literacy. In fact, I believe it's part of being financially literate at all. If you don't have the time to invest in understanding the basics of this, then you need a trusted expert who will do it for you and educate you along the way. See, the inflation-eroded economy is only going to get worse. Staying the same and following traditional methods that have already put you behind on inflation, that's just not an option anymore. The reality is, if you're like most people who have a family to feed, and even if you don't have children, you have parents who are going to need your support at some point in the future. Every single day, inflation eats away at the health of our economy, bringing us closer and closer to the elimination of the middle class. My team and I specialize in strategic tax advantage investing, helping countless investors make millions and stay ahead of inflation to secure their legacy. If you have a $100,000 tax problem that you're ready to fix, but don't have the time or energy to study the 70,000-page tax code like a college textbook, well, that's where we can help. Because let's face it, as a full-time employee or a business owner, your time and attention is in high demand on high leverage activities that keep the needle moving forward. See, studying and understanding the tax code is a huge investment and learning curve, and it's much more reasonable to focus on your main source of income and have someone else coach you to solve your tax problem with you than it is for you to focus on it. I say this because I've already gone down the road of learning it alone. I spent years sorting through the advice of different accountants, different people, different gurus who weren't even experts in tax strategies. I've listened to guidance from the wrong experts, leading me down the wrong, bumpy road of confusion, misunderstanding, and feeling defeated from the lack of progress and very expensive missteps. I've bought the books, I've attended the seminars, and I've explored the trials and errors from different assets to find the tax advantages and how to implement them to perfection. You can do it the same way, just know it can take you years, even decades in some cases, until you start seeing the reward of your efforts. Do you have that kind of time? I endured a lot of hardship from the mistakes I made, the expensive consequences of my own misjudgment, and many, many lessons learned the hard way along the way. It isn't an easy path to follow, and unfortunately, many people are exasperated before they are able to really reach their goals. If you're ready to elevate your tax strategy, increase your savings, and optimize your financial future so you can finally keep more of what you actually earned to accelerate your path toward financial freedom, then this is the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity you've been looking for. Because for the first time, I'm opening my schedule to work one-on-one with a few high-income earners to create a fully customized tax savings plan. Together, we'll build an actionable plan that you can take straight to your CPA that takes full advantage of the U.S. tax code to easily and legally slash your current tax bill. You can live the life you want before retirement and keep more of your money that you've already earned. This one-on-one custom tax plan is the fastest and most predictable way to ensure that that happens for you. And here's how it works. Number one, we'll kick things off with a thorough onboarding conversation. This is where I can get to know you and understand your current financial situation, goals, risk tolerances. The big focus is on helping you create a solvable equation that creates a crystal clear path to ultimate financial freedom. This is the custom tailored approach to tax planning that every high income earner needs, but very few gurus really teach. Number two, from there, we'll dig deep and see how you are currently getting paid and what tax strategies you are currently using. Is your income 100% active? Is it W-2? How much can we convert to passive? These are points that are all very important because when it comes to tax strategies, there is not a one-size-fits-all approach. See, this is the big mistake that most gurus make. They pick a single tool and they pitch it to everyone as the ultimate solution. The plan I create for you takes into account your specific situation and will maximize all the potential benefits available to you via the US tax code. And number 3, after I have a thorough understanding of your goals, current situation, and current tax plan, my team and I will go to work building you a custom tax investment plan. This plan will be specific and actionable. You will be able to take this plan directly to your tax professional so you can start keeping more of your hard-earned money right away. And number 4, we will deliver your custom tax plan on a call and go through it in every detail. On this call, I will walk you through the plan from start to finish. I will make sure that everything in it is clear and easy for you to understand. You will finish this call by fully understanding the ins and outs of the plan so that you feel completely in control and are ready to take action. Now, as a bonus, you'll also have full access to my entire network of contacts. After multiple decades in this industry, my network is pretty expansive and it covers the globe. I can tell you who you need to be in touch with based on the plan we put together. Not only will I tell you whom you need, I'll personally connect you with them if I can. This network includes every person you will need to maximize your tax savings and increase your financial growth. If you're already working with someone, that's totally great too. What does life look like as we work together? You have a clear vision of your financial future. You're following a plan that virtually guarantees results without the overwhelming stress of excessive work hours and learning everything yourself. You're growing your knowledge, your skills, and your confidence when it comes to tax planning, investing, personal finance, lifestyle design, work-life balance, and more. You're continually expanding your network and forming high quality and profitable connections via my personal list of contacts. You're able to share your wins with your spouse, your partner, your family, your friends on a regular basis. And you can finally feel proud of keeping more of your money that you already earned and growing more financially independent and literate every day. Which leads us to step 4. Acquire the lifestyle assets that create additional tax benefits and cash flow. This intelligent investor framework allows you to enjoy the things you love now instead of later. You know, I recently got to know a guy that bought a condo in a building I have in Puerto Rico, and he was well advanced in age. The problem was he'd always wanted to live on the beach, but at 74 years old, that was really difficult. And I would see him take his wife to the beach every day in her wheelchair. They had these big, huge tires on it that allowed it to go over the sand. And here they were, finally enjoying what they'd always promised themselves. And that's not the way to do it. I was 45 years old, living on the same beach, utilizing the tax code for my benefit to do the things that I wanted then, not waiting till I was 74 and life had taken its toll on me. See, there's a way where you can enjoy these things while you're young and still have your health. And you can do it in a way that creates passive income for you at the same time. Doing this allows you to stop managing and dealing with the hassles of investments you don't enjoy, the kind of investments that just eat up your time and your energy with promises of an ROI sometime in the future that you may not even get to enjoy. It's called building yourself another job. It's as simple as identifying the things you love and want to enjoy in your life now, then applying these tax strategies so that you can optimize your cash flow using the things you're passionate about. I'm going to give you 2 examples. One that is something I'm passionate about and actually got one of my investors to do it with me. But I've always been a pilot and I love flying airplanes. The problem is I hate paying for things. So I found a local flight club that wanted to use my airplanes, wanted to employ them to teach other people, and I was able to secure the airplane, purchase it, put it in the flight club, get a very nice return on my investment while using tax code section 179 to completely depreciate the airplane. This allowed me to not only make money from renting the airplane, I literally saved 37% of what I paid for the airplane in taxes that very same year. I'm going to tell you about another investor of mine who did something very similar, but did that in the Airbnb market. And we've heard a lot about the Airbnb bubble bursting and all these kinds of things. The reality is there are still a lot of really good operators out there that have done this. I know a couple that operate these businesses, and they've been able to depreciate out all the furniture, all the utensils, paper towels, all that kind of stuff in their investment and create passive income for themselves while they have someone else pay for their retirement home. Think about this. You're 40 years old, you buy an Airbnb, maybe it doesn't make a ton of money, but somebody else is paying the bill, and 25 years from now, when the thing's paid for and you're ready to retire, this investment is ready for you and you've taken full advantage of the tax code to buy this asset. Step 5 is invest the tax savings and cash flow into additional passive incomes, creating additional income streams. See, once you've applied the strategies I've given you above, you're going to take that money that you didn't pay to the IRS and you're going to invest that in real assets that you like to create additional passive income. This is how you can create passive income, which is a lower tax rate without having to sacrifice your lifestyle and give up the things that you currently enjoy. You need to recognize that doing things the traditional way is putting you behind. Your financial freedom, security, and future will suffer from that. When you're able to see this, taking action becomes easier, even imperative, and provides a clear path for you to take so that you can achieve your goals. When you schedule a call with me, I will provide you with a document that completely breaks down the plan of action that you can take to your accountant. Because the number one question you're asking yourself right now is this even legal? So we want to involve your tax professional. Then we can help you create a simple LLC and a lease agreement, whatever you need, hassle-free, setting you up to create money out of thin air just using the tax savings tips we give you. So what comes next? After you've done this, you're going to rinse and repeat the process over and over again until you hit your target. Once you've successfully implemented these strategies, you're going to go back to step 1. You're going to create another solvable equation, and you're going to ask yourself if that is still the target you want to hit. Have you made progress? What do you need to do next in order to get yourself closer to reaching that goal? Then you're going to review step 2. Identify and optimize how you are paid. Do you have any new income streams that we can take advantage of? Have you optimized them to be tax efficient? How can you convert more of your income into passive income? After you've done this, you're going to take action again using step 3. Utilize the tax code to maximize tax savings. Doing this over and over again will create a compounding effect, allowing you to create more wealth and increasing the speed of which your accomplishments are achieved. You want to accomplish your goals each and every time you do this and review them until you're getting perfection. Let's take a look at a real-world example of what the Intelligent Investor Framework looks like in action. I've seen this framework create consistent results with various investors with key performance metrics improving significantly. Look, it really doesn't matter if you're full-time W-2, if you're a business owner, if you're already an investor, or you're creating most of your income through other investments. This works for everyone. We will help you find the solution that works for you and create that custom plan that takes you from where you are to where you want to go. Our team of experts custom tailor the Intelligent Investor Framework to fit your needs, using the income channels that you already have and maximizing the assets you already own. Now, for the first time ever, we're offering to work with you one-on-one and tailoring specific advice to your tax problems. We're looking for high-income earners with a tax problem who want to keep more of their money in their own pocket and stay ahead of inflation. If you're ready to outpace the inflation-eroded economy, schedule a call so that we can help you implement these strategies and win in this economy. If you're not sure how any of this will apply to your specific circumstances, the only way you can find out is by booking a call. There's no risk in discussing how we can tailor the Intelligent Investor Framework to your specific needs. The biggest risk is really doing nothing at all and staying the same and falling behind inflation and becoming forced out of the middle class. Not a pretty picture. We're here to help you succeed and to create the life of your dreams while doing this. So click the link below to schedule your call now. We're looking forward to working with you and helping you achieve the unparalleled success with the Intelligent Investor Framework.